Back to the Culture Call on Praise 93.3 with L. Spencer Smith. Our desire is to reach and empower the community by discussing a cross-section of relevant topics from various perspectives that are essential to its growth and interpersonal connections. Be sure to save our call-in number, 205-752-4800. Be sure to install the free Praise 93.3 app so you can send L. Spencer Smith a message or topic idea. Search for WTSK in your app store.
This is the world premiere.
Great morning, great morning, great morning, precious people, and welcome to another episode of the Culture Call with Elspeth Smith, right here on Praise 93.3 FM. It's a beautiful day, and this is the place where Tuscaloosa meets the world. For the next 2 hours, y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about everything from society to sports, from education to economics, from religion to relationships, and of course, we are definitely here, as always, to create a safe space. That's right. A safe space to have empowering, provocative, and sometimes controversial conversations. And I pray that all of them are productive. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that what we say is productive for our community, and for you as an individual and us collectively together. And guess what? You can call in or you can chat it up as we learn together right here on the Culture Call. Listen, every morning I remind you to go ahead if you have not done so already. Maybe this is your first time with us on the Culture Call broadcast. Hey, welcome along. Thank you for joining the bus. We're getting ready to take off in just a minute. But yeah, you can go to your smartphone device store, whether it's Apple or Android, and you can go there and search us out, Praise 93.3 FM, and you can download our free 99 app. That's right, it's free, doesn't cost you a thing, and you can literally hear us from all around the world. That's right, definitely, no matter where you are, especially if you are in this United States, whether you're in Philly, whether you're in New Jersey, or whether you're in New York, Manhattan, Texas, Topeka, Kansas, or right here in our beautiful city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, you can hear me wherever you are. Also, again, I want to encourage you to email us your public service announcements and your events. Yeah, to Culture Call, culturecall.praise@gmail.com, culturecall.praise@gmail.com. That's right. And we want to let everybody know what's happening in your neck of the woods, because I know we got some great things going on here in the city of Tuscaloosa and the surrounding areas. And so we want everybody to know, lottie, dottie, soddy, potty, everybody. We want to create traffic in your event. That's right. We want to make sure that people attend so that you can tell everybody, look, who supported my event, and everybody can go out and say, hey, we had a wonderful time, and whatever your church, your organization, your sorority, fraternity, or, your choir, a concert, whatever it is, we want to support it. You know why? Because we definitely do it better when we do it together. And of course, listen, always write down this number, 205-752-4800. That's 205-752-4800. And you can call in to the show. Yeah, be a part of it. And your voice, we'll hear you. Your questions, your concerns, whatever, your encouragement. We definitely want to hear from you. Also, you can, when you download the app, you can chat it up on the app as well. And I'm reading it during the breaks and sometimes on the air, because I want people to know what you're thinking about what we're talking about. Yeah, I told you, it doesn't matter if I'm doing good or bad, if I'm stinking up the joint or making it smell good. I want you to be a part of the conversation. I definitely want to hear from you. So do me a favor, sit back and relax. Go ahead and grab you some coffee. Yeah, you know what we do it. Maxwell House or Starbucks. Y'all know what I like. Caramel macchiato. Yeah, ain't drinking that too much these days, but definitely I love it. Yeah, go ahead and get you some herbal tea, whether it's chamomile or green tea, get your little caffeine kick, or you can get some alkaline water. That's right. And get those toxins out of your body, from all that pork chop and stuff that you've been eating, fried stuff. And yeah, get it out of your body, drink you some alkaline water, and get down to the cellular level, revive that, those cells, and let's get into the culture. Culture Call. Y'all have been cutting up this week. It has been a wonderful week in terms of our subject matter, and that has been accountability. Yeah. Accountability. And we've been trying to dig into that. And every day I've been trying to, let it go. Just go ahead and move to another subject. But more and more, I get things in my inbox. I get things in my chat. Hey, Bishop, don't let it go yet. We got some more questions. We're enjoying this. And so, hey, I didn't know that so many people, were interested in the subject of accountability. I didn't know that. And, I just thought it was something, shout out to James. James, yeah, I owe you something, yo. I owe you a tithe or something, from Baltimore, Maryland, gave me this topic. It's the listener's choice topic. And so I guess it would be, exciting to be a part of what somebody else thinks is important. And you all have been commenting and asking questions. And I sorely appreciate all of that. Yeah, we've been talking about it and digging down into it and making us understand really what accountability means and how it affects our lives when it is present and when it is absent. Yeah, we talked about exactly how can we help people stay accountable. Is there any way that we may be able to force people to be accountable? And we discussed that and all that. Because listen, in holding one accountable, we want to make sure that we are not manipulators ourselves, right? We want to make sure that we are not those who are, becoming quote unquote the witch, that forces them to be something and do things that they don't want to do. But what we do want to encourage their own free will to be accountable and obligated and answer for every decision. We talked about the power of making sound decisions this week. And I think that's probably the keystone or the cornerstone to what we've been saying is that you've got to learn how to weigh out your decisions. Every action is going to cause a different kind of reaction, and that may be positive and or negative, right? And so we have that responsibility to each other and to ourselves. And so, yes, this conversation is quite necessary. Well, we've got a full day of talking about it. I believe that we're going to land the plane today on accountability. I'm really, really going to try on accountability. So, yeah, let's get into it. I want to talk to you today about empowerers versus enablers. And accountability, I want to talk to you about empowerers, people who empower us to be accountable, or people who enable our behavior that help us avoid accountability. And that's a big subject because one of the things that we said on yesterday is that after we how to hold ourselves accountable, after we look at ourselves and we do the introspection and we become self-aware of the areas in which we need to be held accountable, we also need to assign ourselves to a peer accountability group. That means that we have to create a company, create a community of people who we trust that will hold us accountable, that will make sure that we make responsible decisions, first of all. Number two, that we can run our decisions by them before we even, execute, before we even let it out of our mouths. We have a trusted group of people that we can really consort with, and consult with that will, say, hey, a green light, you can go ahead and post that, or you can go and execute that. Or, I think not. This is a little bit too much. You need to go back and rethink it. Yes, it's so very important that you assign to your life those kinds of people who are not yes people, who are not just going to green light it because they like you or they love you or whatever that might be, but they're going to challenge you and apply some level of attention to the decisions that you make so that you can begin to look at all aspects of what's really going on, of what's really the consequences could be if you follow through with said action. So, yeah, you got to create that. In creating that company, however, right, we've got to make sure that we have people who are empowering us instead of enabling us. And I think that's very important because the company that we keep is really the benchmark and really the fuel for our accountability efforts that are going on in our lives. Right? That when we assign people to say, this is my folks, this is my quote unquote clique, this is my group, this is my tribe, we have to think about whether these people bring out the best in who I am in terms of actions, decisions, in terms of forward movement, or Are these people literally supporting habits within me that are, quite frankly, destructive and deleterious to who I am, right? That they are people that says, hey, they know I'm doing bad, but they don't say anything. You know, they encourage me when I'm wrong. You know, they're like, oh, well, I would have done the same thing too. You know, they're sitting there. And I know those kinds of people we think are ride and die folks, as you know, as the generations would say. Yeah, that's my ride or die. But you need to understand, I don't want nobody with me that's going to be riding and hoping I die or allow me to die before my time. I want people around me that's going to say, hey, step back from the brink of that. Don't you dare jump off of that cliff. Don't you dare drive off of that mountain. No, you need people around you that's going to remind you of who you are, what your obligations are, what your responsibilities are. Yeah. And empower you to be the best that you can possibly be. Those people literally daily run the risk of maybe making you upset or mad because they are challenging you out of the place of immaturity and inaccountability. Because I told you, inaccountability is assigned to the mentality and the cognitive skills of a child. That when you are not accountable and you refuse to take responsibility for your actions and your decisions, and you try to blame and put it on somebody else, that is to say that you're functioning at a level of childhood. You're functioning at a level of maturity, immaturity rather. And I think that's very important, because if you've got people that are not challenging you to grow, challenging you to be your best effective self, then you've got to start asking yourself, what kind of people do I have around me? What, you know, because they say birds of a feather flock together. Right? That you mean to tell me that all of us are juvenile? All of us are acting immature and childish? All of us are flippant when it comes to our responsibilities and obligations? Right? All of us have these tremendous character deficits, and we hanging out together, and we going to the movies together, we go to church together, we sit by each other, and all of us are doing the same thing. That there is no one in the group that's challenging us to be better. No one saying, hey, remember you gave that person your word, you know? No one saying, hey, it matters how you do it. It matters how you do it. I know this time might be this and that, but be careful of how you do it, right? You don't have anybody around you that says, hey, be careful how you burn bridges and what bridges you do burn, because you never know when life is going to offer you an opportunity to have to cross back over. And if you burnt the bridge, how are you going to get across? Right? You never know who is in your life that you need to handle very carefully. You never know what opportunity is that will be presented to you, will come forward in your world, that you need to handle circumspectly. That you don't need to be foolish, and you don't need to toggle with it, and you don't need to, handle it as if, it's something that you can live without, because life has a way, Culture Call. Do you hear me? Life has a way to teach you. Life has a way to bring back up into its existence, or in your memory, to let you know, yeah, you missed an opportunity, because this wasn't just a relationship. This wasn't just a woman. This wasn't just a girlfriend. This wasn't just a boyfriend. This wasn't just a job. This wasn't just a church. This wasn't just a pastor. This was something that was key and critical to the future of your life. And watch this, how you handled it now has altered. If they don't maintain their level of integrity and character, it might cost you a door. It might cost you a platform. It might cost you a life-changing, life-giving opportunity. And I think that we need to think about that. And so in our conversation this morning, especially in our centering moment, I really want us to think about the people that we have hanging around us. Who's really supporting us? No, begin to detail and outline all of your friends, all of your company. Yeah? And I'm talking about, not just family. I'm talking about those who you've selected to be in your inner circle. And answer the question, do they empower me? They empower the best in me? Are they afraid to challenge me? Do they have my best interest at heart? Do they hold me accountable to my choices and my decisions? Do they help me think a thing through? Yes. Are they there? Are they present to help me navigate certain decisions and certain choices that I have to make in life? Or are they enabling me? Do they enable deficiency in me? Do they enable my habits? Do they make it easy and comfortable and convenient for me to renege on my word? Do they make it, do they give me a safe space to be a nobody? Did y'all hear that? Do they give me a safe space to be a nobody? Or worse yet, a body that whose character and whose integrity is shod, is done. And they're like, oh, it's okay. You know, we all make mistakes. Okay. What kind of people are they? Are they the ones that put things in your ears? Are they the ones that coming back and bring things that people say about you while never defending you to those people? See, because when they are enablers, they will bring back everything they hear about you, right? And those things, they think they're being a good friend. They think they're being loyal. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is, if they're in power, you would never hear it. That doesn't mean that they won't tell you. That just simply means that they took care of it, and it ain't no use for you to understand. I don't want to stop you. I don't want to distract you. Neither do I want to hinder you by something that somebody said about you. They are your defenders. They defend your being. And when they are in power, yeah, that they're like, nope, I don't know my friend, and nope, I'm not going to tell him that, and no, while I'm sitting here, you're not going to talk about him. See, those are the kinds of people that you need. You don't need people who play both sides against the middle, that they're enabling you, but they're not really loyal and committed to you when the going gets rough and the fire gets hot. So it's very important that we begin to look at our peer accountability groups. Are they really the people who you need around you? You know, the text says you got to be careful for corrupt communications, contaminate good manners. Evil communication corrupts it. Yeah, that communication means that the people who I talk to are always spilling something inside of me, or always enabling the weak areas of me, the areas that I need to develop in, the areas that I need to grow in, the areas that I need to forgive in, the areas that I need to show up and be present in. They give me excuses to be the lesser me. They give me a reason why I should not rise to the occasion. You know why? Because they don't rise to the occasion. And so misery loves company. And so does ineffectiveness. That when you are not trying to be the most ineffective person, or the most effective person, the best people to hang out with is ineffective people, because they're not going to challenge you. You know why? Because they're not being effective as well. Right? They're not going to stimulate. They're not going to tell you, hey, you can do better. No, they're not going to do that at all. They're not. One of the lessons that I learned growing up when I was a child is be very careful of the friends that I keep in my space. And you would bring a friend over, and your parents would ask you a litany of questions about that friend. Who you want? One being, who are their people? Who they're connected to? Who are they related to? Right? And they'll ask, what kind of student are they? Yeah, they would ask all those questions because they want to know who you're bringing in your circle that's going to have some level of influence over you. Because the truth be told is that everyone in our circles have a degree of influence in our lives. Oh, no, I think for myself. No, that's not what. No, you don't. No. And you don't want to always have to think for yourself in terms of by yourself. I know ultimately it's your decision and your free will. You get to make the choice. But the text says in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. So there is safety when you are counseling with the right people, with the people who really have your best interest on their minds and in their hearts. It's important for us to have our circle evaluated Every now and then, you just need to take them out, maybe to Applebee's and maybe, somewhere and talk to them and just see how they act. Maybe you should share success stories or vision stories or dreams that you had and watch their responses. Maybe you should talk to them about elevations and promotions and then see how their body language changes, if it does. See who's excited and see who adds a level of skepticism. It might be a season, for you to remove some folks from your circle because they are enabling you to be the worst of who you can be. And all of us have that propensity, that tendency, things on the inside of us that are not so good. And you don't need anybody around you, stoking that fire. Put more wood on that, throwing gasoline on it so that you can burn out of control. You don't need acquaintances that are going to create arson in your life. They'll set a fire and watch you burn. And then when people ask what's going on, they will act like, I don't know what happened. And they'll say, hey, you close to this person. But I don't know. They was fine when I was talking to them, knowing that they brought the gas and the kerosene to the entire situation. See, and oftentimes we do not, let me say this again, we do not evaluate the people that are in our inner circle. But I think it is high time, Culture Call. I really do. For us to go down the line, who's got your number? Who's texting? Who sends you emails? Who do you see all the time? Who do you hang out with all the time? And what are they imparting into your life? What advice are they giving you? Yeah. What are they cheering you on to do? See, if it was me, you got to be careful about those folks if it was you, because they have the luxury to say, if it was me, when it's not them. As a matter of fact, you should stop and think about when it was them. You feel me? Yeah, because when it was them, they made bad decisions. They just tore up everything. And they're always going to ask you, they're always going to say, well, if it was me, I would do such and so forth. I wouldn't let them get away with that. If it was me, I would go and such and so. Yeah. No, those are not the kinds of people who you need around you. You don't need anybody that's going to stoke your anger, that's going to, empower your unforgiveness, that's going to fuel your strife, that is going to encourage your backbiting. You don't need anyone that is going to promote you being the worst of who you know you can be. You need people to tell you, okay, I understand what happens, but let's get ourselves together. You're better than that. And when you tell them, I'm getting ready to, they say, absolutely not. That's not what you're getting ready to do. No, you're gonna choose a path of least resistance. You're going to choose the path. You're going to cause yourself to ignore that. Now, if they don't infringe upon your person, if they don't come in your face and threaten you, then ignore them out of existence, because anything that you give time to, you give them the opportunity and the privilege to participate in your reality. But when you don't give them that time, you ignore them out of existence, because time, giving something time or paying attention to something is the thing that really gives it really shapes it into reality. So there you need people who will remind you to stay focused on what you're doing. Don't listen to these folks. I've had the pleasure of having friends around me to say, hey, L, don't do it. Don't do it. We know you are a wordsmith. We know if you wanted to, you could really get them. Don't do it. Think about this. And they give me a multiplicity of things to think about. Think about if you do this. Think about if you do that. And think about who that's going to hurt. You don't want to tear that up. You don't want to divert people's attention. You're trying to keep them focused on one thing. You don't have time to address that one in that situation. They will begin to encourage you to say, hey, don't you have something to do? Don't you have homework to do? Don't you have a sermon to do? Go downstairs in your studio and write a song. But do not give that attention. Don't respond to that. See, those are the kind of people who are empowering people. I have a friend in Meridian, Mississippi, and he called me and said, hey, you know what? I know you're doing X, Y, Z at the church. I know you're doing that. And I believe in you, and God has assigned me to you to empower you to do what you need to do. Stay focused, bro. Stay focused. They talking. I'm hearing it. I was like, what? He's like, stay focused, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. See, that's the empowerers that you need. Yeah. Because one day I was so frustrated, Coach Carl, I can talk about me since I can't talk about you. one day I was so frustrated, I said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of their mouth. I'm sick and tired of that side eye. I'm sick and tired of these, sub posts, tweets, whatever. And I was getting ready to let them have it. And just when I was getting ready, my friend's like, absolutely not. I know that you are. I see it. Don't you even pay attention to it. Be accountable to who you are all across this country. Do not give a local yokel an opportunity to knock you off of the square of your visibility on a national context. I was like, what? He's like, look, man, folks going to talk. They're going to talk where you are, whether you're good, whether you're bad. They're going to find something to talk about. They're going to find something. And so you stay focused. You need people in that group that's not going to let you quit. You need people in your group that's going to remind you what the task at hand is. You need people in your group that's cheering to say, finish it. You started it, finish it. You need people that's going to help you literally carry the load. You do not want to have people that just want to watch you fight any and everything. You want people that empower the fight in you. That empower you to keep going. That empowers you to keep moving on, to burrow through limitations, to burrow through the tensions and the hard time. You need people that can look at you and say, you better not give up. All of us are depending on you. That's what you need. That's what you need. Those are the kind of people that are really designated to hold you accountable. Right? Everybody in your circle has to be God ordained and you selected. Try it again. They have to be God ordained and you selected. That means that nobody just can invite themselves into your life. Right? I had been knowing my friends from Meridian for years. And for such a time as this, God put them in a unique place in my world. Just when I needed them to empower what I'm supposed to be doing. You got to start thinking about the people in your circle. Yeah. Are they really pushing you in the back, encouraging you, or are those people standing as a wall to your forward progress? You have to start thinking about that. Think about that, okay? Think about that. Yeah, because I need you to understand that they are key and critical to your future. Listen, this is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3. We have a wonderful day planned. I need you to go ahead and get a little coffee, get a little drink, and be right back here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And family, we are back right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3 FM, and it is a rainy day. It's an interesting day out the door, but guess what? It is all warm and love on the inside of this room that we have for you right here at the Culture Call. And this morning we are talking about accountability. Who are our empowerers and who are our enablers? Who's the folks that helping us go forward and who's the folks that's hindering our forward progression? We need to identify that, especially as we talk about accountability. You see, because I think that as we move forward in talking about accountability, it matters who we have in our ears. It matters who is helping us shape our lives and our decisions. And so we have to be very careful of those who we have around us. See, there's a tremendous accountability gap in this particular generation. And I told you yesterday, because humans hate to be wrong, right? And when you couple that, if you get a group of people who have a lowered standard with regards to what is right, what is correct, what is, human to do, what has character and integrity, when you're living in a generation where there is placed such a low value on accountability, then it becomes very difficult to assemble your accountability Avenger quote unquote team. That's just the facts. That when everybody is trying to to take advantage or find the advantage in everything for themselves. When you're dealing with a culture and a system of people who only see themselves as the most important feature, they can be a part of the team, a part of your accountability team, a part of your life team, and still not be vested or invested in you being the best person that you can be. Not understanding that you being the best you also elevates them. And so the truth of the matter is that some people don't want you to be better because you being better places a lot of pressure and tension in their lives to become better, right? And so they will enable all of the negative traits inside of you, and they will encourage you and push you and even set up events to where that negative feature inside of you is enhanced and put forward only so that they can come back and say, man, you sure did such and so forth. You did such and so forth. I would have did the same thing too. But see, here it is. That kind of behavior doesn't stimulate them to be better. See, when you are better, if they're going to hang around you, if they're going to be in your circle, guess what? They got to get better too. And so when you're living in a generation where, accountability is so, the lack of accountability is so prevalent in society, you got to, again, take time to really say, hey, I wonder who I have in my circle. Who are my friends for real? Who are the folks that empower me for real? I want to be around people that empower me. I don't want to be around people that's going to give my weakness and my bad habit and my temper a platform or encouragement to show forth itself. Because I said to you that part of accountability is being able to also own your actions up until the consequence, right? If you're going to do the action, then you must also own and partake in what? The consequence. And so you got to make sure that you have people around you that will always remind you that, hey, there's some consequences connected to that. Yeah, you want to go on this date with this girl, but hey, I'm telling you, yeah, I don't think your wife gonna like that. Y'all didn't see that one coming, did you? I don't think that's a wise thing. I know you're not gonna stay in Tuscaloosa. You're gonna go to Birmingham, but you have absolutely no idea of who gonna see you, sir. Bro, you don't know. You don't know because you don't know who all the women your wife knows. You don't know. But you're taking that risk because you're around guys that's encouraging you to do that. They're encouraging you, and they offer no kind of truth, offer no kind of different perspective, offer no kind of holding you to integrity. What is a little funny reel on Instagram that I saw a couple of weeks ago, and it was this young man. He specializes in eating chicken wings, and he was talking about, you know what? I gotta find me some new friends because guess what happened? And he's just chewing this chicken. And I think chewing the chicken is funny too, right? Him chewing the chicken is hilarious because he's taking apart this wing. He's doing surgical eating on this particular wing. Nonetheless, he said, you know what? One of my friends got married and I was in the wedding and I supported him. And then we were at the club one night and he wanted to go and mess with some other girls. And I told him, absolutely not. I said, nope, that ain't what we came in for. I'm single, you not. You just got married. He said, I done paid all my money to be in your wedding. I done invested. You got me calling this girl sis. We done invited her and got her endeared into our group. And now you trying to mess it up and go, no, sir, sit right here, get you a drink and eat you some wings because that's all you getting ready to do. Because he's like, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to cheat on her on my watch because now I'm invested in helping you be the man of integrity that you need to be. See, now that's the kind of friends. And listen, whether they eat chicken wings like that guy or not, it doesn't matter. But you need to have somebody around you to say, yo, bro, that ain't it. That ain't it. I don't care how she looks. I don't care what she's offering you. Get away. You need guys that's going to hold you accountable. You need women to do the same thing too, sis. I don't care how smooth he is. I don't care how Denzel-esque he might be. I don't care if he looked like Shamar Moore. It does not matter. You married Rufus. That's what you did. You married Rufus. Yes. And because you said I do the roof assist, we're not going to let you go out like that. We're not, nope. All the bridesmaids, I still got that bridesmaid's dress in my closet. I spent a lot of money on that Vera Wang because you just wanted Vera Wang. I was trying to tell you get something cheaper. And we all spent our money on that. And yes, that's what and no, you ain't going to go out here and make me lose my investment. You need people in your life that's going to call you to the carpet and say, you will not do that. You will not throw everything away for this fleeting moment of pleasure, for this fleeting moment of what you think is going to be happiness. You need a group that's going to hold you accountable to that decision. That's right, the decisions that you made, that has your back and your front and your sides to make sure that what you do is integritous. Yo, sis, go home to your husband. Yo, bro, go home to your wife. Make it work. I know y'all fussing. Cook some spaghetti. Get some hamburger helper. I don't know what to do. Make your little salad, get on the floor and talk it out. But what you ain't going to do, what you're not going to do is mess up, because here it is. I don't want people to think that all of us like that. No, I don't want my girl to think I'm like that because I'm hanging with you. And I don't want my husband to think that I'm like that because I'm hanging out with you. So no, absolutely not. You need people, Culture Call, that's going to call your decisions to the carpet. Now, you got two choices right now. You can say amen or ouch. Yeah, you need people that's going to say, no, don't you go on that job to talk to your boss like that. You're not going to have no job, and I don't have no money to give you. I don't have no money to give you when you lost your job acting an idiot on your job. Huh? Nope. The benevolence fund is closed. We don't have benevolence for that. Nope, sorry. You done went in your job and cut a natural born fool, going off on your coworkers, coming in late, telling your boss what you are and you not going to do because he ain't your daddy, And here it is. You done forgot that you got these two kids that's depending on you. But you trying to hold on to some foolish pride. You trying to snap your neck and all that kind of stuff. And now you out here looking crazy. And then you thinking that you got friends that going to help you pay your bills. This friend is not going to help you pay your bill. This friend is going to tell you we ain't doing that. If you can hear me and if you think I'm trustworthy enough to help you pay your bills when you do something crazy on your job, then know that I am also trustworthy enough to tell you don't do that in the first place. Hear my words in that. See, this is the system of people that we need to locate and surround ourselves with. People that will hold us accountable to high character and high morals. That's right. That's what I said. And I'm not just talking about church folks, because some folks who are not churchy or not what we call religious will be the ones that hold you accountable. They'll be the one that's like, oh no, right? And then they'll add a little spice of cuss in there every now and then when you get crazy. Come on, we all grown folk. You got some folks like that in your friendship, in your corner. They let some things, and when they get ready to tell you about some things, they let a couple of few slip on it, but you get the point. Yes. I tell my friends, when you want to talk to me, my close friends, hey, I'm not the bishop, I'm not the pastor, I'm not the great reverend, I am L. I need you to say what you need to say, the best way you need to say it, so it'll get my attention and make me think. I need you exactly. I mean, and they don't use profanity as a measure of life. But hey, if you need to drop a bomb in there to get my attention before I ruin my life, do that. That's the kind of people that you need to be around. Right. You need to be around those people. Absolutely. And especially as we go forward, move forward in this generation where we're seeing the lack of accountability, where we're seeing a great disdain for you being able to hold people accountable to their decisions, hold them accountable to the choices of their free will. They'll hold them accountable to the choices to receive the consequences for their actions. Yeah. See, people want to do things, but they don't want things to come back to them. They want to be able to say things to you, but they don't want you to react. They don't want it to come back to them. They want to have their perspective, but they want to shut down yours. And when you have a certain perspective, they want to say, we live in a culture that everything is phobic. You can't have your perspective that is a juxtaposition mind that's contradicting mine. Because if you do, I'm going to label you as this and I'm going to cancel you. Cancel me then. Cancel me. It doesn't matter because I'm obligated, if I'm in a relationship with you, to tell you the truth, to do what I think is what is best. Yeah. To do, because I'm not going to lead you down to a place that's going to hurt you. I'm not going to empower you toward the destruction of your life and your future and your opportunities. That's not what a friend does. That is not what someone who's empowering you does. They remind you of what you have on the table. Are y'all hearing me, Culture Call? They remind you of really who you are in the equation. They don't let it slip up on you. No, they're going to remind you, don't do it. You need you some friends that's willing to chew that chicken bone and that wing and say, no, you ain't finna do that. You are not getting ready to give up. You done came too far. You're going to go get that degree. Absolutely. How many hours you from it? Oh, okay. All right. What's that? That's what you 12 hours from getting the degree and you tired? Okay, good deal. Well, then stop doing this because you done came too far, got too many loans and Pell Grants for you not to finish this degree. Go ahead and finish this degree. I'm talking about friends that will say, hey, you're doing that? Drop the kids off with me. I handle them for a few hours. Now, you got to come back and get your kids down. But I handle them a few hours so that you can take care of your business, so that you can study, so that you can focus on your business plan. Because that's the kind of individual you need around you that's going to empower you in a positive direction. You do not need people around you that are going to be the Judases of your life. And I know I've seen, in certain areas and teachings and preachment and all kinds of stuff, people try to, deify Judas. We all need a Judas. No. Jesus didn't say I needed a Judas. No. Because Judas sends you to your purpose. No. I get it. I get us trying to theologize that. I get theologize that. I understand that, I know that makes for good homiletics and that makes for a good touch your neighbor and good holler across the room. I get all of that. But in reality, I want people around me that's for me. I don't need people around me that's acting like they're for me, but they're going to betray me. Absolutely not. Right? I don't need that. I don't need people that's going to sell me out. I don't need people that's going to help me float down a river, down the waterfall that's literally going to cause my life some kind of catastrophe. No, not at all. No. And you don't either. You're so busy working on a testimony that you're not checking out your surroundings. You're so busy trying to create, this and that so you can tell people, he is one again. I get all that. Yeah, no, you need to be able to make some wise decisions in your life. Because, yes, I know that he can keep you from falling. I understand all of that. Now unto him. I get it. Glory, hallelujah, amen. I get it. But I also believe that he's able to keep you from falling. That part. Right. I know that there are friends that got you if you fall. Amen. Good. God bless you and yours. I want them kind of friends too. But I would rather have friends that will work hard in my life that will keep me from falling. Because if I don't have to fall at all, great. Absolutely. If I don't have to make mistakes over and over again to live this life, just to learn a lesson, but I can talk to my friends and they can give me, I can talk to my group and they can give me insight on certain things that will happen down the road, truthful insight, discerned insight, things I didn't think about on this hand because I'm so busy looking on this hand, that they can talk to me about the whole ramifications of the matter before I make a decision. So I won't have to embarrass myself. I'm grateful for friends that are there when I embarrass myself because I've fallen and they can pick me up and they're still with me. But I would love to have friends that will help me and remind me, guess what? You won't even have to fall at all if you just do it this way. Now, wouldn't you like to have friendships like that? Isn't that what your circle of accountability should look like? Absolutely. Most definitely, Culture Call. You cannot spend your life, you don't measure your friendships by who picked you up when you fall. You measure your friendships by those who don't let you fall at all. That they will say, hey, we're going to do our best to make sure that you stay standing. That's the kind of accountability group that you and I need. That's what we need to be searching out. That's what our hearts need to be desiring connecting to. We don't have time to waste time on unnecessary falls, unnecessary faults. No. Again, it is good to have friends who will be there, who are there to help you and pick you up, that's got that safety net. But it's also good to have friends that says, hey, no. You're not going to even fall. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to hold you accountable to walking straight, walking steady, and being stable. Isn't that good? Absolutely, Culture Call. Listen, we're having a beautiful day right here. This is yours truly, L. Spencer Smith, right here on the Culture Call, Praise 93.3 FM. Yes, I need you to go ahead and get your little snack, a little breakfast. I think it's almost close to brunch, but you know what to do. Hydrate yourself and stay right here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And we are back. It's the top of the hour, 11 a.m. and it's some change right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith. And I am telling you, it is a beautiful day. A little rainy, a little overcast. I get it. Don't worry about it. If you keep living, yeah, the sun is going to break through in a few. The clouds are going to pass. And today is going to be an amazing day. Huh? You got to come into agreement with that. It's going to be a beautifully amazing day. Listen, we have had an amazing first segment. I'm telling you, this conversation on accountability, and you guys are hitting me up on this chat and on my email, on my Facebook, social media, all of that kind of stuff. Yes, it is. Y'all really thinking about this accountability piece, right? And I've got some questions. I got an answer talking about how you discover those friends and how do you adjudicate that? How do you, and those are good questions. Amazing questions. Yeah. Of how, you can select these friends. What is there a process? I think it's unique to you. It's unique to your personality. I know how I would do it, but that would work for me. You know what I'm saying? I think when you begin to dealing with accountability of friends and assembling that peer group that will hold you to a level of integrity and character and responsibility and a sense of obligation, it's not one size fit all, Culture Call. I think you've got to do the work of knowing what you want. Again, yesterday we talked a little bit about becoming self-aware. What do you want? You got to know the kinds of people in your circle that are already there, right? You also, once you figure out what you want and you know those people, then you start kind of selecting, I'm not saying have an interview. Of course, you're not going to put in a text message, listen, you are in this text message because I'm thinking about no, that's not what you're going to do. I wouldn't do it that way. I mean, some folks might, but I would not. But one of the things I would do is spend some quality time with those people that I think I'm considering to be a part of my group. I think if you spend that quality time, spend that intimate time, get to know people, you do less talking and more listening. Because once you listen to people's answers, once you listen to how they view life in their perspective, they'll kind of give you that green light or that red light in terms of assigning them to be a part of your inner circle or your accountability group. You see, I think that selection ought to be made and ought to be had when you're in a place where you're not doing so much talking, but that you're doing the listening, you're doing the examining, you're doing the investigating. And they might even say, you're not saying a lot. Oh, no, man, I'm just thinking about what you're saying. I'm just thinking about how you're saying it. And what you're doing is you're processing them. You're processing them to see how, they live life, to see their perspective on life, right? To see if, you remember we said this yesterday, if you are equally yoked, right? That if your lives are going in the same direction. that we believe the same things and we would handle things in the same manner, and we hold ourselves to a elevated level of integrity and character. You want to hear all of that. Don't just assign people because they like you, they like your gift, they like what you do. No, people who are in this group, they need to be folks who love who you are, that they are invested in your being and you being the best, that they are not intimidated with your gift. They're not intimidated with your platform. They're not intimidated with your talent or your anointing. They're not intimidated with your ministry or your church or whatever that is. You don't need to be around people who are intimidated by you, right? Because they're never, at the end of the day, they're never going to do anything that really promotes you because they're intimidated by you. You are their competition, not their companion, not their comrade, right? And so you need to make sure that you utilize that level of wisdom when you're selecting those kinds of friends, those kinds of people who are going to be, remember now, these are going to be the people who give you counsel and wisdom and advice to make sure that you maintain a life of accountability. These are the people who you're going to trust in that space to counsel your heart, to counsel your mind. These are the people that you're going to be transparent and honest about your decisions, honest about your choices, honest about your perspective and what you have in your heart. So these people are not just willy-nilly that's walking up off the street or friends you've known since kindergarten or whatever. No, these people that you've spent some time with investigating them. Absolutely. You need to spend time with those people, and you need to spend time listening, right? Because in listening, here's what's going to happen. You'll start categorizing people. You'll start categorizing this group. There are some people that will be in that group that you know you can come to for this specific thing and this specific thing only. Then there will be others in the group, that will be others in the group that you can go to them and they can deal with a wide range of things, right? But you need to listen. You cannot, I want to stress, you cannot tell these people about, in terms of identify these people who will be in that accountability group with you doing all of the talking. No. Shut up, hush, be quiet, right? And listen to how they handle problems. Listen to their conversation. Listen to the level of their conversation. And that will tell you a lot. That will inform you whether you need to have close proximity of with this person, or all y'all need to do is go out for occasional lunch or brunch after church and keep the distance. Right? Yeah. These are not the people that you need to tell your decisions. You tell what's going on in your mind, to rationalize your steps. Nope. Like Grady says on Fred Sanford, nope. Right. You cannot handle this arbitrarily or carelessly. You've got to be very intentional. Right? Now, here's the thing. Also, you got to make sure that you are that kind of friend to them. That you are there. Because if you're in a group, that it's going to be some level of mutuality there. Right? That means you got to invest in them as well. That you have to be the person that not only receives counsel, yeah, but you got to also be able to give wise counsel. Which means you got to work on your wisdom factor. You got to know that person. You've got to listen to know them. Not just to know them for the benefit of you, but know them for the benefit of them. You have to empower them as well. You have to pay it forward as well. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what you have to do. You cannot just have people around you to cater to you. No, if you're a part of a peer accountability team, an empowering team, and not an enabling team, you need to be able to be ready as well for them to utilize you just like what you're trying to utilize them. This is not a selfish venture. It is not. Absolutely not. So you have to start thinking about that. Listen, I had some folks to hit me up on the chat. And of course, you can always call me 205-752-4800 and chat it up with me. Let me know your perspective. Let me hear what you got to say. If you have anything to say, but I got this from my social media page, and they asked me 3 questions. And it says, number 1, how did a lack of accountability get so prevalent in current society? Let me say that again. How did a lack of accountability get so prevalent in current society? Okay, I will tell you. It starts, number 1, with in the home. That's the first thing. It starts in the home, because if there's not a level of accountability, and I think we hit on this a little bit yesterday, if there is not a level of accountability that is done in the home in terms of chores and making children responsible, if we're not creating that and cultivating that and crafting that in children, that by the time they get to a certain age, that whole idea of entitlement will begin to foster and fester in their lives, right? They will begin to get into a certain brand of individualism, of which I see now. I see that a certain brand of individualism, that it's about me. It's about myself. I'm only worried about me, right? It's only how this makes me feel. It's what I want. Yeah. With no accountability, it's just what I want. Answer to nobody. It's just the way I see it. It's how I want to live my life. It's my truth. You can take it or leave it. And so when it begins in the home, and it starts morphing into different kind of complexes. That narcissistic complex where it's all about me, and the path and the methodology of life becomes so self-centered that even if you're in a relationship with them, it benefits only them. It's always their perspective and how they see it. It's about you catering to their needs. And if you just stop and look, there's a great swath of just generation that has been sucked up in that mentality. But I blame the parents. But not blame the parents only, but from a foundational context. Yeah, because I know when people get older, they have a choice to change. That you can't totally blame the parents for everything that people do, especially when they come from because some people come from a functional home where they did have to do chores, where they did have to be accountable and responsible. They got out by themselves, and then they developed this individualistic kind of idea. So I'm definitely not singularly indicting the parents to say that they are responsible for all of the accountability or lack of accountability issues in this current society. But what I am saying is that parental guidance is a common factor there. It is a factor that spoiled adults were spoiled children. Let me say it again. Spoiled adults were spoiled children. Adults that throw temper tantrums did not get it checked when they were children. Train them up in the way they should go, and when they get older, they won't depart from it. Now, that's positive and negative. So if you train them up to be little good people, great. When they get older, they're going to be good people. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have that level of, even if they do some things, they're going to still be good at heart. But if you raise them to be, Damien's brothers and sisters, if you raise them to have their own way, and they cut up on you, and they get in the mall and they fall out till you get what they want, and they go to the store, pull stuff off, and you just buy it because they're just a child, just a baby. Please understand, ma'am. Please understand, sir, that baby gonna grow up and expect the world to do the same thing for them. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to have a tremendous reality check when folks are not willing to do what you did for them growing up. So yes, but there seems to be a certain level of cancerous individualism that's going on. Wouldn't you say, Coach Call? That there seems to be people that only care about themselves. And that's why you're seeing that lack of accountability. That, hey, you took it wrong. It's that half apology. I'm sorry that you took it wrong. That's not an apology. You're really insulting the person that you're supposed to be apologizing to when you say stuff like that. Right? So yeah, it's not me. It's just the way you saw it. I didn't say it roughly, or even if I did say it roughly, it's how you took it. Right? And so, yeah, because I adjust you because I'm perfect. Adjust you because I got it together. Adjust you because you're the problem. I'm never the problem. So get together. See, that doesn't just start. That's been rooted and grounded and allowed to fester for a long time. Yeah. And so that's why we're seeing this whole lack of accountability. That's why, folks can come and I saw this on social media, on Instagram, but this woman just came into these people's house. Not invited, didn't knock. She just thought she could. She thought she could. And I was like, wait a minute. And then you're going to walk out the house, take pictures, walk out the house, and use profanity against the people whose house you just broke into. As if you were right. Yeah, see, that's a lack of accountability. Exactly. Right? See, I've seen some people talking about, well, they shouldn't have fought. They shouldn't have fought. These folks at the Montgomery boat dock. What they shouldn't have. No. The boaters got out, attacked this man, and they didn't know that the man had brothers and sisters that were going to come. The hive that they were going to come against them. Well, they sowed a seed. They sowed the wind and they reaped the whirlwind. Right? But then there's an ilk of the people out there like that shouldn't happen. They should have. No. Absolutely not. No. You're just enabling the lack of accountability in our culture. Here's another question that they asked. They said, how important is the ability to be honest with self and others in accountability? Okay. And we talked a little bit about this on yesterday as well. But I appreciate this question because I think what is important is that if honesty is not going to be the cornerstone of the relationship, of the action, of the, of the input, then we got major issues because we're going to be gaslighting people to make them think that it didn't happen or gaslighting people to make them think that they deserved whatever happened, right? To avoid accountability when there is no honesty in the equation. Yeah, be honest. This is what be honest. When I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, okay, listen, you know who I am. I know who you are. Just go ahead and give it to me. Don't let anything sneak up on me that you could have told me beforehand that other people can use against you, right? And because they will wait till pivotal moments to provide information that will literally destroy the moment, destroy the opportunity, and try to destroy the relationship that is between you and I. So you have to be honest. Be honest. Culture call. I cannot stress this enough. I want to tell you emphatically, be honest. Be honest. Sometimes honesty is going to offend people. Sometimes honesty is going to offend you. Sometimes honesty is going to put you in check and put you in right perspective. But be honest. You've got to utilize the tactic of honesty when you're dealing with accountability. That's the only way that we're going to be able to hold each other accountable if we're truthful. And I can't find that on the back end when the consequences get ready to come. Because I don't know if I'll be able to help you through the consequences in terms of getting you out of it, protecting you from it. No, some consequences I just got to, even as your support friend, I got to let you experience because you weren't honest with me up front. You didn't give me the full parameter and you didn't tell me everything that you were getting ready to do before you did it. See, and so then that becomes an issue. That becomes a tremendous issue. You've got to be honest. You owe it to your accountability team to be honest. Right? Good deal. And here's the last one that they asked. I got another question. It says, I know there is a wrong way to hold someone accountable, but is there a right way to hold someone accountable? Yeah. Yes, there is. And that, first of all, is approaching them with humility, honesty, and truth. Say it again. Approach them, the situation that you're trying to gain accountability or, hold someone accountable. Do it with humility, do it with honesty, and do it with telling the truth, speaking the truth in love, right? Because if you go in an antagonistic kind of way, you're going to create more of a fight, more of a resistance than there really should be. If you handle them the wrong way, if you handle them incorrectly, then what's going to happen is simply this, is that they're going to take offense of the approach and not ever deal with the accountability. Have you ever dealt with somebody that you're trying to do with something but your approach was wrong to them and they couldn't hear you and you never got to the point of saying, hey, no, this is what we're really talking about, right? And when that happens, now you're fussing about something. You start fussing about approach and all these different kinds of things. I see it a lot in church, right? That when you're dealing with people, I'm like, okay, but it didn't come the right way. See, and that's when somebody doesn't want to be held accountable, they're going to talk about the methodology in which you came to them. They're going to make it about that. They're not going to be making it about rather the issue at hand. They're not going to focus on what the real issue concerning accountability or the lack thereof. They're going to make it and focus on the fact that you didn't approach them in a certain way. That's what they're going to make it. Absolutely. And so if you had approached me differently, you didn't have to come and see if I come humble, if I come in humility, if I come in honesty, and if I speak the truth in love, I disengage all of those walls and barriers and that weapon that they would use not to recognize that they chose not to be accountable in a certain area. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about how to do it the right way, right? Do it the way that you will want somebody to come and do it to you. Even if that person is showing themselves to be a little cantankerous. Even if that person has a little oomph on them that you know is going to need to be checked. Even if that happens, you need to be able to go ahead and say, okay, no problem, no issue. Here is the deal. XYZ happened. This is what you did. This is what took place. You need to be able to say that and say, hey, I'm coming to you. I just want to, and you can always ask a question about the scenario. Hey, just like Nathan did David. He said, hey, David, let me talk to you. King David. David, let me talk to you. We got an issue in the kingdom. And David comes over as the king like, yo, okay, what's up, Nathan? Nathan was his prophetess friend. And Nathan said, hey, this was this guy, man, that had, one sheep and he took care of it. And there's this other guy who had sheep, but he saw this other guy and his sheep and he really liked this sheep for himself. And so what he did was kill the guy so he could take the sheep. What you think we ought to do? David was like, yo, we ought to kill that joker. Let's ride out. Who is it? David's kingly demeanor starts rising up. And Nathan says, thou art the man. You're the one who I'm talking about. Yeah. See, he slid it in there. See, when you're dealing with and holding people accountable, there are a lot of ways that you cannot be off-putting, that you cannot. See, the idea is not to get them tangled up in the way you approach them. Right. That is what you have to do. And you got to know, do not always go in there. When you're heated, when you're angry, when you're mad, don't do that. Simmer yourself down a minute. Compose yourself. I know you're mad. I know you're hurt, depending on what the situation is. And you say, hey, let me talk to you about something. And you craftily, wisely back up into it. Don't raise your voice. You give them a scenario. And then and watch their reaction to that scenario. And then say, okay, I'm talking about you, right? Oh, okay. See, that's how you start confronting and having the conversation about accountability. Humility, honesty, and speaking the truth in love. I told you yesterday that there was this whole podcast that I was viewing, and this lady, she was saying, she was interviewing this other lady who had 3 kids. She was 38 years old, and she wasn't making a lot of money. So the lady says, okay, what kind of guy can date you? She said, well, honestly, my standard is that any man that dates me cannot have kids. Wow. Okay. And so the lady wrote it down, and she said, okay, is there any other thing? She said, well, he can't be over 40 years old. He's got to be a younger guy, Oh, okay. No problem. Cool. Right? And then she said, well, how much money? Oh, he's got to make, $60,000, $80,000 a year. Cool. And the lady says, well, tell me about yourself. How many kids do you have? She says 3. She says, how many baby daddies do you have? She says 3. Okay. She said, how old are you? 38. How much money you make from $20,000 to $40,000? She said, so what you're saying is you won't even date yourself. Did you have that? What? She said, yeah, you wouldn't even date yourself. And the lady said, well, I guess not. She said, then why would you require someone to be that for you when you're not even accountable to be that for yourself or that for them? Because if he said, I don't want a woman with 3 baby mamas, three baby daddies. I don't want a woman that's 38 pushing 40. I don't want a woman that ain't making at least 80 grand a year. You would call him toxic. You would say he's a toxic man. You would say he ain't no good. You and all your girlfriends would go off on him not being the kind of man or XYZ. But here you're saying that that's not you wouldn't even date the man. If he had the same characteristics as you wouldn't date him. And listen, that the leader of that podcast did that thing so smooth. She did. She's like, yo, Because what you're already saying is you're not going to be accountable to him, but you're expecting him to be accountable to your wants and what you see for yourself. And you can never offer that to anybody else. And so when you're trying to hold somebody accountable, you got to use wisdom. Get an understanding of what you're dealing with. Understand the individual that you're dealing with. Some people, you can't hold them accountable because they are duty bound on finding out themselves. You can't hold them accountable because they can't even see anything that they do wrong. They can't even see any measure of obligation outside of themselves. They are stuck and imprisoned in individualism that they can't see anybody else. They will step on your foot and ask you, why is your shoe under my foot? Why did you put your shoe under my foot? Wait a minute. I'm sitting here. You're walking. You step on my foot, but I'm the wrong one? Right. Why is your foot under my foot? Didn't you see me walking? Why didn't you move your feet out the way? Really? See, there are some people that unfortunately you cannot hold accountable. There are some people that have low emotional intelligence. There are some people that are so unaware of the surroundings because they are so and too hyper aware of their own self that they can't see anybody but themselves. So it doesn't matter how they treat people. Right? It doesn't matter how they treat anybody else. And you got to know that, hey, I'm not going to be able to hold that person accountable. And that's definitely not somebody who I want holding me accountable. Right? Because they think that it is their job in life to hold other people accountable. It is funny because as a pastor, I get it all the time. I read it all the time. I wish preachers or pastors would do. You ain't never pastored nobody. You can't pastor yourself. You ain't never been a part of listen. I wish they would talk about this, and I wish this. No, this is not Burger King. This is not Have It Your Way. No, this is No, you're not. You can't manipulate the moment by your lack of your ignorance of experience. You're inexperienced. And so, but you want to hold somebody else accountable to something that you don't even know what their job description is. Those are not the people that you want hanging around and loitering in your life, because they have no self-awareness. And anyone that lacks self-awareness cannot be one that holds anything accountable, because they will do whatever they want to do and hold you to a standard that they will never meet, that they will never do for themselves. And yet they will hold your feet to the fire to do what they think you should be doing. That's not an accountable person. That's not who you want on your team. That person is toxic, and you need to get away from them. They are not healthy for you. Listen, Culture Call, I'm telling you, it's been a wonderful day. 205-752-4800, or you can hit me up on the app. Yeah, because you see, I'm reading them. Y'all bringing me some great questions, and I'm trying to knock them all out. Yeah, so we can land this plane on accountability. Listen, got more to come. I need you to stay right here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And again, we are back right here on the Culture Call. L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3. It's been a beautiful day and a wonderful discussion. Listen, I'm going over some of these things that you've been chatting on the app, and I'm telling you, a lot of you got a lot of questions. And but like I said, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to land this plane today. I promise you, I am. Listen. So the question is, how much does emotional intelligence have to do with accountability? How much does emotional intelligence have to do with accountability? And I would say it has a great deal to do with accountability. I think that when you're dealing with people in terms of making sure they understand choices and decisions and circumstances and consequences that arise from their actions, that person who you're talking to or you're consulting with has to have a level of emotional maturity to be able to have a discussion, a circular discussion about, in terms of, if you do this, then this might be the outcome. And here is why I think this is not the best thing for you to do, right? That when it comes time for facts and figures, then we gotta have someone who knows how to handle their emotional tangents. They've got to be able to understand what it means to be, emotionally clear, that I'm going to separate my feelings from the facts of the matter. Now, I feel like I want to punch them in their face. I feel like I want to say this. I feel like I want to go quit today. I feel like, all of these things, that negative things that, happen in life. Yeah, they happen. But an emotionally intelligent, emotionally matured person will say, I know I feel it, but let me consider this. Let me consider all of the obligations and responsibilities that I have that will be affected if I approach it in this manner. You feel me, Culture Call? That, right. So when you're dealing with, accountability, you've got to deal with someone who is emotionally able and capable of handling the nuances of various things going on. It cannot just be about them going off of the tangent of their feelings, because guess what? Feelings change, right? Today you hate your job, but if they do something good, give you a certificate, give you a raise, give you a promotion, then tomorrow you're going to love your job. And if you're just going by how you feel about it in this moment, about today, and you never kind of just survey certain things and follow certain procedures and, particular, protocols, you will allow your feelings to get you in a situation that will ultimately be destructive to your future. So yes, that emotional intelligence and accountability somewhat go hand in hand. Would you think? Yeah, that I have to be able to say, today I'm not feeling her. She gets on my nerve today. Yeah? But I have to listen to those, say, yeah, I know, but tomorrow, that feeling might pass. Y'all go out, go to the movies, y'all talk about it, and it be done. You don't make any decision based upon feelings because your feelings are not matured yet. Your feelings, you're not intelligently enough emotionally to be basing any life decision off of your emotions and your feelings. Yeah. Teach, L. I am. That's what I'm doing. That was for the people that sit in the back, on the back pew. I need you to understand that a lot of people who you're trying to hold accountable can't because they are not emotionally intelligent. They're going to be mad at you, trying to fight you, trying to, pick a brawl with you because you're trying to say, hey, I don't think you should do it that way. Or I don't think you should have done it that way. Oh, who you judging me? Or who you think you are? Xbox, and you're like, it ain't even all of that. It's not even all of that. You are going off on this emotional tangent. And all I'm trying to tell you to do is think about this decision that you've made. Because you stand more to lose than to gain if you handle it this way. Right? Ain't no need to get mad at me. And see, I'm the kind of individual, when I find somebody like who's emotionally unintelligent, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going back and forth. Not me. Here's what I'm going to say. You came to ask me what I thought you should do. What you will not do is like Paul said, am I your enemy now that I tell you the truth? No, I'm not. No, we're not going to, I'm not going to play that game. We're not going to do that measure. I'm not handling it in this manner. And you're not going to approach me like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this. I've given you my counsel. I've given you my advice. Yeah. And I'm going to remove myself from this process because I'm not going to be a character in your attack mode, in your emotional attacks. No. Yeah. So yes, to the answer to that question, should emotional intelligence be a part of holding people accountable? Absolutely. See, there's some people that you love enough to hold them accountable, but they stay too much in their feelings for you to even address it. Some things you're like, oh my God. Yeah, I would love to help them, but I'm just not going to be able to help them because their feelings are going to get in the way. Culture Call, do y'all know anybody like that? I know it's good where you are, but the fact of the matter is that you cannot hold anybody accountable that is emotionally wayward. When they don't have that maturity, you're in for a heck of a fight trying to hold somebody accountable. Yeah, they don't have the skills to do it. They don't have the cognitive skills to do it because they've controlled their life. They've controlled their world. They've controlled their relationships by their emotions, by their feelings. And so because everybody does, when they start feeling a certain way, everybody gives them what they want and does what they want them to do. And that's kind of how they control the situation and how, they control consequences or try to control consequences, because people just know, not me. I'm like, okay, I know you feel, I'm going to address it up front. Darling, sir, I know you might be feeling a type of way, but yeah, I think let's just breathe for a minute. Let's just do some breathing exercises. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly. Let's do that again. And let's talk about what the real issue is. Right? Let's talk about what the real issue is. Right? Because I need you to calm down. I need you to, if we're gonna do, I can't plan with people who are super emotional. I cannot strategize with people who have no level of emotional context and awareness, but how they feel. I cannot deal with people that don't know how to bring themselves in to address really the heart of the matter. Yeah, yeah. So, you may be persons that did it. Now, when it's a child, when it's somebody, a teenager that's trying to discover their emotional balance and homeostasis, when they're trying to get like that, sure, we can do that. No issue here. No problem. Calm down, babe. Yeah, calm down. Let's go get some TCBY. And let's talk about it on our way. Right? But an adult, I expect, okay, let's bring this in. Because if you can't control your own soul, if you can't control your own feelings, then I don't know how safe I am in this moment. I don't know how, let me say it again. I don't know how safe I am dealing with you in this moment if we cannot know, if you don't have control over your emotions. No. So we're gonna have to, I'm not the person to be on your team when you are feelings unstable, when you are emotionally unstable. Yeah, that was a good question. Because I think everybody need to hear that, because I think sometimes we don't hold people accountable because you know that their reaction is going to be off the chain. Their reaction is going to be like, yo, what? How did we get here? How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. Right? How did we even get to this place? That makes absolutely no sense. What's going on here? You know? And so, yeah, you definitely got to make sure that when you're dealing with the whole idea of dealing with somebody emotionally, you got to know how to kind of deal with that nuance, right? Listen, 205-752-4800, or you can hit me up on the app. Definitely. You can definitely do that. We've got a few more minutes, and we're getting ready to land this plane. That's what we get ready to do, Culture Call. Right. That's absolutely great. Listen, you all have been amazing, literally amazing on this subject matter, right? And so I just want you to understand that our responsibility to hold each other accountable has to be one that, hey, we got to start thinking through this stuff, right? Good deal. Listen, I got Miss Joyce on the line. How you doing, Miss Joyce?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I am doing well. What you got to say to us today?
This what I want to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Every morning before Brother Jay go off the air, he tell us to be peaceful.
That's right.
I be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I be peaceful every day, 7 days a week. And you got to learn how to be peaceful.
That's right.
If you want to be peaceful, you can be peaceful.
Exactly.
I live a peaceful life because I want to live a peaceful life.
Right.
And the main thing, I got love in my heart.
That's right.
I pray to love everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I pray to understand and comprehend people. And the problem today, people don't understand one another.
Right.
They don't listen to one another.
And not
when
trying to.
When people talk, you got to listen to people. You got to listen at them, and you got to comprehend and understand what they're saying. Everybody's not on the same level in intelligence and wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Some people know more than others. Some people know less. But regardless if you know more or less, still listen. Listen to people. If you listen and be quiet and have an open heart and an open mind, you can learn from people that need your help.
Absolutely.
And you have a blessed day. I listen every day, and I enjoy your program.
Thank you, Miss Joyce. Thank you for your wisdom.
I love you.
I love you too, darling. Take care. Listen, I'm telling you, and that's right. That's what I was saying in the last segment. You got to be a listener. You got to listen to people. You have to listen to figure out if they're going to be on your team, and can you be on their team? Because there's some people that I know that I couldn't be on their accountability team just from listening to them. Let me say it again. Just from listening to them, I can already tell you that, I'm not going to be able to be on their team because they are too emotionally unstable. They're unstable. No, they're going to be ready to fight and cut and shoot. No. Over that? No. They didn't harm your person. They might have bruised your ego and your pride, but they didn't harm your person. So let's try to strategize. How can we fix this? Did you go talk to them? No, I ain't talking to them. I ain't talking to them. Okay. All right. Well, you do know. Then how do you know whatever they did, they meant it in that way? It don't matter how they meant it. It just, it don't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter how they meant it. It only matters how I feel. And that is a person you cannot hold accountable because you have to take in consideration what the other action was. You have to take in consideration how that other person felt and their perspective if you're going to get to the place of holding each other accountable. But when you come in and your point is the only one right, and you snapping your fingers and you popping your neck and, doing all that kind of stuff and sucking your teeth and no. I don't want my fingerprints on that at all. Not at all. And see, when you learn how to do that, it'll save you a whole lot of what Miss Joyce said, your own peace. It'll save you your own mind. It'll save you your own joy and happiness. Yeah. And I sure hate that they're going to make the wrong decision because I already know it. I know it. But before I let their decision destroy me, then I will rather back out. I'm going to hold myself accountable to the moment that I'm in and say, listen, I may not be the person you need to talk to about this. I think you might need to find somebody else. Because, you're not listening right now, and I've heard you. And you're so busy trying to be right and get vengeance that I can't hold you accountable to this moment where you're about to make the wrong decision. I think once we do that culture call, once we know what we can handle and what we cannot handle, and engage both of them properly, we're going to see some changes as it relates to our accountability efforts and our accountability company, right? Listen, got a little bit more to go. This is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith. It's been a beautiful day. Got a little bit more. Go ahead and get some water. I think it's time for some water. Don't you think? Yeah? Come back. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
Well, family, it's been an amazing day. It has been an awesome day. And I think we finally landed the plane on this accountability subject. What you think? Yeah? Absolutely. I'm super excited always when we can present a topic that is so engaging and so empowering to our listening audience. I am so, I'm so blessed to have you listening to me every day and to engaged. I'm enthralled. Why? Because you're literally saying, hey, this is making me better. It's challenging. It's provocative. Sometimes it's controversial, but it's exactly what we need in our community to make us better. And I think that one of the main subjects, foundational blocks of community empowerment is accountability. That we've got to be able to rely on each other to make good decisions, to make wise choices, and to accept the obligation and responsibility of the consequences. Yeah, consequences are not always bad. Let me say that again. I said consequences are not always bad and negative. And I know in our English language and sometimes our perspective uses the word consequence in a negative way. But truth be told, consequence is only the result of an action that you and I have taken. And so, as we seek to build our community and be positive influences in our neighborhoods, in our families, in our homes, in our churches, in our businesses, our schools, then we corporately and individually should take responsibility for the harvest that come, for the multiplied fruit that will reveal itself because we've made wise decisions to care, wise decisions to invest, wise decisions to share, wise decisions to build up our families as those who can be used as examples for other communities and other people who may one day meet us. They say, yes, those are the people that I want to be like. And the only way that we can do that is if we are accountable to all of our actions today. You got me? Good deal, family. Love you guys. Listen, like my grandmama and my mama says at the end of every phone call, I love you a bushel and I love you a peck and I love you a hug around the neck. This is the Culture Call with yours truly, L. Spencer Smith, right here on Praise 93.3, signing off for another day. Continue to listen to Praise 93.3 and get your praise on. Until then, be at peace and have an amazing day. God bless.